Texas. All right, let's turn to last night's debate. I mean, it was full of bitter political battles, heated personal attacks, but the field found some consensus in regards to the passing of Justice Scalia. CNN senior White House correspondent Jim Acosta is joining us for this conversation, along with Root.com politics editor Jason Johnson, Republican strategist Kayleigh McEnany. Good to have all of you with us. And Jim, I want to start with you because these debates have been contentious, but I think we saw a very different tone last night. Even the audience seemed to be more engaged. What do you make of that?
Well, South Carolina, Victor, is known for its rough and tumble politics, and, this was true to form down in South Carolina. And I think it was not too surprising that all of these Republican candidates were going to go after Donald Trump. This might be their last chance to take him down. If he wins the South Carolina primary and starts rolling into Nevada and all these other states, his candidacy is going to be very difficult to stop. I did think it was somewhat shocking to see Jeb Bush and Donald Trump clash over the presidency of George W. Bush. That attack line works for Donald Trump at his rallies. I don't know if it worked well down in South Carolina or on that debate stage. There were a lot of boos in there, and so I'm anxious to see what the polling looks like after this debate, because it's possible some damage was done to Donald Trump, even though it worked really well with his audience, I suspect.
Yeah, Jason, let's look at that moment. Donald Trump was very aggressive in going in on George W. Bush as he comes onto the campaign trail at the start of the week about the decision to invade Iraq and 9/11. Let's watch it.
George Bush made a mistake. We can make mistakes, but that one was a beauty. We should have never been in Iraq. We have destabilized the Middle East. They lied. Okay. They said there were weapons of mass destruction. There were none, and they knew there were none. There were no weapons of mass destruction.
All right.
But I am sick and tired of him going after my family. My dad is the greatest man alive in my mind. And while Donald Trump was building a reality TV show, my brother was building a security apparatus to keep us safe, and I'm proud of what he did.
These candidates, all of them, have called each other a liar on the stump, but now they're doing it face-to-face. What did you think about that exchange?
I thought it was a very smart exchange for Donald Trump. I think that no matter what people keep forgetting, Donald Trump is not playing to who's in the room. He's playing to people watching. And there are lots of independents and lots of Republicans, believe it or not, certainly his supporters, who agree, who think that the war was a mistake. And so we have to remember that Donald Trump isn't playing this like any normal Republican. It's not like his beliefs line up with any real Republicans anyway. He's playing to a certain kind of audience that's frustrated in general with government, and for that audience, he scored a lot.
Yeah, but Kayleigh, he's got to play the game in front of him, and that is South Carolina, right? So in South Carolina, the Bush name is golden. Does this hurt him going into Saturday?
Look, I think it does. When you look at Donald Trump, he really has two-tiered support. On one hand, he has conservatives and evangelicals, some of their support certainly important in South Carolina. On the other hand, he has independents, which, again, important in South Carolina. It's an open primary state. Democrats can vote. Donald Trump pulls in some of that constituency. But here's the problem with what Donald Trump said. I happen to fall in the conservative line of his camp. And among conservatives, George W. Bush has 83% approval. It is absolutely fine to say we shouldn't have gone into Iraq. I happen to agree with him there. A lot of conservatives do. But to call George W. Bush a liar, it's just a bridge too far. He had faulty intelligence. We can debate the merits of that all day. But George W. Bush is a hero to many conservatives. And, I wish Donald Trump would dial it back a tad, because it could really harm him with this constituency.
Hey, Jim, is the Bush love, this Bush adoration, is that transferable? I mean, how much support does Jeb Bush get simply for being a Bush on the ballot in South Carolina?
Well, as you know, Victor, this has been difficult for Jeb Bush all along throughout his campaign. All you have to do is look at his signs. They say Jeb exclamation point. They don't say Jeb Bush, and it's because the Bush name is a bit of a drag on his candidacy. However, he is gambling big that George W. Bush will be an asset down in South Carolina. That's why he's coming in there. If George W. Bush were an even bigger asset nationally, I suspect he would have been on the campaign trail much sooner. It would not have been the much more popular Barbara Bush up in New Hampshire. It would have been George W. Bush. So this can be a drag on Jeb Bush's candidacy. However, having said that, and I agree with what Kayleigh just said, you know, these attacks on George W. Bush, saying that, you know, 9/11 happened on his watch, the World Trade Center came down on his watch. That's an example of him not keeping the country safe. That might have been a bridge too far, and it's going to be interesting to see if Donald Trump can handle this moving forward. At the same time, though, if you talk to his supporters, you talk to people, I mean, people who are inside the Republican Party or as conservative as you can find them, will say that the reason why they like Donald Trump is because he tells it like it is. That's his brand. The question is whether or not that brand can hold up after what happened last night. It remains to be seen.
All right, Kayleigh and Jason, I just want a single name if you can give it to me because I've been given the rap. The winner of last night's debate. Kayleigh first.
Donald Trump, but he needs to dial back the George W. Bush attack.
Jason?
Donald Trump, Donald Trump, Donald Trump.
All right. Donald Trump, both there.
Yeah.
Jason Johnson, Kayleigh McEnany, and Jim Acosta. We'll send it back to you in a moment. Thank you all for joining the conversation. We'll continue it next hour. Coming up.